Welcome back to Cheddar Politics. In January, we saw an impressive amount of coverage of Kamala Harris for making history. However, the media attention waned significantly, and now people are even saying she has almost disappeared from public view. There have also been reports of Harris allies and aides expressing their frustration over how the VP is continuously being sidelined. So joining us now to discuss more is Reecie Colbert, the founder of Black Women Views Media. Thanks for joining us today, Reecie. We're going to jump right into it. Now, many outlets have been reporting of how largely Harris has really disappeared. Now, what is your take on that?
Well, thank you for having me. I think it's actually a manufactured narrative that doesn't square with reality. The reality is that Vice President Kamala Harris to date has done over 300 events. She's had over 336 areas where the press has been present. She has traveled internationally. She just got back from a largely successful diplomatic trip in France. Today, she's meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada and the President of Mexico. And so I don't think that she's invisible by any means, but I do think that there is a little bit of lack of interest in the fact that she's incredibly competent at what she does. And it's not flashy. It's not entertainment. And if people were expecting her to be a celebrity vice president, they're not getting that. What they're getting is a person who is all about leading and taking on those hard assignments.
Even though she's been quite busy over these past year as the Vice President of the United States, big job there, many Harris allies still feel as if the VP has been sidelined and set up for failures. They say that Harris has been set out on losing issues in the wrong situations for her skill set. So let's go over some of the biggest issues in her portfolio. She has voting rights and immigration, minus the southern border crisis. Now, would you say that the frustration Harris allies are feeling at this point are valid?
I understand, as people who are very supportive of Vice President Kamala Harris, they want to see her get wins, easy wins. And her portfolio is not a portfolio that's about political expediency. She's not going to get to hang a mission accomplished banner as it relates to her diplomatic mission with the Northern Triangle nations to solve the migrant crisis at the root causes, not at the border. And she might not get a victory, a mission accomplished banner for voting rights because of it being stalled in the Senate and the filibuster that blocks any passage of voting rights legislation. So there's no doubt that she has some very, very tough items in her portfolio, some of them which she actually volunteered for, like voting rights. But she also has some recent successes as well. We have to look at the massive amount of broadband investments that went into the bipartisan infrastructure package. She was very instrumental in that passage of that, and that is an unequivocal win for her portfolio. And so I think that, this is a long game. We have a day-by-day winning this daily news cycle kind of political coverage. But the reality is that the presidency and the vice presidency and being in the executive branch is about doing the hard everyday work to improve the lives of American people.
And she still has a long ways to go in terms of her time as VP. But as of now, just looking at some of her accomplishments so far, what do you think her legacy would be?
Well, she's already made history. I mean, she has achieved levels that no other woman in this country has achieved so far. She's the second highest ranking Black person, Black woman of all time as a vice president, the second ranking woman of all time. And I think that no one can take that away from her. I mean, it was almost inconceivable that we would even be here at this point. So I think that her legacy is cemented. Aside from being vice president, she was only the second Black woman to be a U.S. senator. And so she is making us proud, I think, by doing the hard work that she's doing and really focusing on doing the job. And as far as her legacy as vice president, as it relates to President Biden, she is a very loyal deputy. She's a loyal number two. And that's really the most important thing about being vice president. It's not about your own political ambition. It's about supporting President Biden. And she's done that more than, exceptionally well.
And my final question with you today. Now, the White House has said that she's really receiving this criticism because she is the first woman. She's the first woman of color to serve as VP. Now, what do you think about this? Do you agree about this?
I definitely think that there is an element of, racism and sexism that is a part of her coverage. But my position is that the main reason why she's receiving this kind of coverage is because she is the logical successor to President Biden. Everybody knows that he has basically put her in a position to pass the baton off. And so, of course, when you have an opportunity to do damage to the next nominee for the president of a major party, people are going to do that. So I think that these attacks against her are more so a sign of her strength, of her electoral strength. Nobody else that is potentially going to run has acquired 100 million votes, 81 million in the general election on the ticket as vice president, and 21 million prior to becoming the vice presidential nominee. And so I think that the tenor of the coverage has a lot of racism and sexism, but make no mistake about it, she's being attacked because she is the strongest person to take the baton from President Biden.
Excellent insight there. Thank you so much, Reecie Colbert, founder of Black Women Views Media.